New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life that's free, listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, bienvenidos. Wherever you are, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are absolutely on two different sides of the earth. Right here for me, it is 4 in the afternoon, winding down the day, and I am in New Mexico, and Dr. Natasha is coming to us from Queensland, Australia.
Yes, where it is Friday morning, and I am so happy it's Friday morning because I get to lay in bed all day tomorrow.
Oh, God. Just those words make me feel excited. So welcome back to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. If you've been here before, you know that this is where we explore the metaphysical in everything, knowing that there is no place where spirit is not. Mm-hmm. And today we're going to talk about where spirit sometimes taps us on the shoulder, and sometimes we hear it, sometimes we pretend we have no idea what that's about or who's talking or what's going on. So we're just going to dive into the metaphysics.
If we're experiencing psychosis, right?
Or just having denial, borderline on both. But anyway, today we're diving into the metaphysics of willingness and, that sacred moment when life whispers to you, are you talking to me? That just reminded me of a time that happened. But anyway, so that's what we're going to share.
Are you going to share?
No, I'll share later. Share later. It wasn't my moment, but I'll share later.
You're going to share someone else's moment?
I'm going to share someone else's moment.
Oh, okay.
This is my husband. We're one.
Okay.
So anyway, that's what we're going to talk about. And but before we get into that, how's your week? Obviously, you're ready for Friday. So what's going on?
It's just been a full week. 2 children, their school break. So this was the first day the first week back to their second term. My daughter is going through all these 90-minute long assessments. So we've had a whole bunch over the last week, and I'm a tired mama. Excuse me. I'm just a tired mama at the end of the day. That's what it all boils down to. And I'm just looking forward to not having like a birthday party to go to this weekend. Like none of this is like my social life, right? I don't have a social life.
I get it.
So, but we don't have a birthday party this weekend. We don't have sleepovers this weekend. I'm literally going to give myself like a facial, and I'm just going to sleep as much as I can. I might get up and meditate. Maybe.
Don't get up. Do it from the bed.
I'll do it from bed.
Yeah. No, well, and, I hate to be a buzzkill, but, that's pretty much the way it goes for the next at least 15 years. So get used to it. Get ready. Yeah, that kid schedule thing is no joke. I feel similar. I thought I was done with that, but this weekend we actually have nothing on Saturday. I mean, up until then, we are action packed with visitors visiting two different sets and driving an hour to Santa Fe to see somebody else. And Saturday, we have nothing. And I'm like, let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way. And
Yes.
Gil doesn't have to speak on Sunday. So it's like he doesn't even have to write a talk. So
Love it.
to relish that moment, make it really happen.
I do have one fun thing to share.
Okay.
So yesterday, because you know my daughter made the dance academy, right? And I'm a dance mom. I just that's my joy right now, right? But I promise not to embarrass her. Like I really won't. But her costume for the first competition
So
came
cute.
in. Ah!
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna be a dance mom. And Lexi was like, Mom, please don't get a matching one. I said, I won't. Okay, fine, I won't. But
I thought you were going to tell me you got one in a different color.
no, she told me not to. She said, Mom, maybe next time. I said, okay, thank you for thinking about me. But this is about her. I said, is it okay though, because I know all the routines, is it okay if Mom's on the sideline doing the routines? She said, yes, Mom, everybody already knows you're my mom. And they know you're extra.
Oh my God, when your child tells you you're extra.
Because other children's moms are saying I'm extra.
So what our kids generally say, who are teenagers, you do too much. It's like for everything, it's like you do too much. So when they started going, well, what do you mean you can't? You're not going to take me here? I was like, I do too much. Sorry. Oopsie. Your words have power, little man. Anyway, okay. Enough about those children. That's great, though. That's very exciting. And that costume can double for Halloween.
She already has her Halloween costume planned now.
For this year, for next year, this year?
We're a big Halloween family. A lot of people don't realize, like, I keep my Halloween decorations up year round. Like I think Halloween might be my favorite holiday. Like, I don't know if I told you, on my front door, we have like a 3D alphaba witch. And so when the Jehovah Witnesses knock on my door, oh my God, it is always fun. It is always a good time.
They're funny. I remember when they knocked on our door and my mom said to them, no, thank you, I'm Buddhist. And they were like, that's okay, we can help. Okay.
Yeah, I get a similar thing, right? Like they see the 3D witch, like the whole, like, like the pointy hat, the green face, and all the thing that I think is beautiful. And I love it. And my daughters I love it. And, I can see their concern for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's coming from a good place. They just want to save you.
Yeah.
But
I'm saved.
Yep.
I'm so saved. I'm saved by this alphabet right here.
You are. Along with that, we are going to do our card pull of the week.
Yes.
Because we're saved and we know the way. We're going to allow Spirit to just show us the way even a little more. So this is our segment where we just, what if you're out there listening, hold your intention, your thought, whatever you're listening, and just know that this card is here to guide you because we like to look for the signs. So tell me when to stop.
Okay.
Okay, stop?
No. Keep going.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay. Transformation. This is from the Denise Lynn Sacred Travel Oracle cards. Transformation. You're not looking.
I am.
Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't. I looked down for a second.
I know.
What is that? Is it a phoenix?
It looks like that, yes. Or a very colorful. Yes, it's a phoenix. We're going to call it a phoenix.
Mm.
And it says, a fresh new way of living emerges.
Okay.
A fresh new way of living.
And what's the message or?
I am looking. I am
Awesome.
looking now.
I'm sorry. I did look down because someone just asked me on a date. I can't believe it. That someone would do
Right
that.
this second as we're doing our show.
Yeah.
You are not supposed to be multitasking, little lady.
Oh, my phone lit up and I glanced and it was someone asking me to go on a date.
Is it someone you're interested in?
I'm not interested in anybody right now.
But I mean, you know what I mean. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be. Could
right.
be.
It's at all interesting, period.
Yeah. Just
okay. Well, just hold in mind that he came in at the same time as transformation.
Well, can I tell you that he is actually a she?
A she. Okay. She came in right at the time of transformation. So that I knew it as soon as I said it, but I couldn't go back. So there you go.
All good. All good.
So here we are. Transformation. A fresh new way of living emerges. Card meaning. You are in a time of huge transformation. Old beliefs, ideas, and decisions about who you are and what you deserve in life are dropping away, replaced by incredible vitality and new pathways. Soon you'll be experiencing the world in a fresh new way. And then it goes on to tell you that the sacred traveler wants you to know the journey transforms the traveler. I like that. When the traveler arrives at the destination, the traveler is no longer the same person who started out. Even if there are some areas that may be murky or unsettled in your life, don't be concerned. This is the confusion that often appears before the rebirth. Like the phoenix, so yes, it is a phoenix. Like the phoenix that arises majestically from the ashes, a big change in your life is at hand. Don't hold on to old ways of viewing the world and limited ways of thinking. Be willing to see the world and with fresh new eyes. Changes are afoot, and it's all so very good. Wowee.
I love it.
I love it too. Resonates for me. How about you?
Likewise. Totally resonates. I feel like that's the complete theme of this season of my life right now is transformation. And the phoenix is associated with my my astrological signs, which are Scorpio, and both my sun sign and my moon sign are Scorpio, and they are both connected to the phoenix. So it just feels like, yeah, it just feels in alignment in the fact that I'm in a season of transfer. It just feels in alignment. Yeah.
And I don't know about for you, but I think for me, it feels like that. And for me, somehow this feels different. It feels like, we've all transformed. We've all had times of transformation and changes. And I feel like this is a more conscious time of transformation somehow. And like I'm even when it scares me, I'm more in partnership or more aligned with it. I was saying something to Gil this morning about this program I'd signed up for, and I said, "Oh, it's great you're going to be there." And he said, "Yeah, so I'll know how to do it." And I said, "Hold on. Yes." And also because I mean, I was able to say, also because I'm scared and I really need your support,
Mm.
which was different. I said, "I get the joke and the joke is funny and I get it." And it's old. You know what I mean? Like, it's just an old thing. I said, because I'll do it no matter what. I just want to know that your support is there. You know,
Mm.
and it feels different. It feels like going in on a journey of, um, I don't know, and that's okay, but it
Mm.
feels different than when I don't know at other times. Does that make sense in some weird way?
It does. It does. And yeah, I like this idea, not just like it, but I can feel this notion of, right, conscious transformation as opposed to, yeah, because like we're always transforming, like and I think when we consciously step on a spiritual path, that is what we sign up for, and to constantly be transformed.
Right.
And something extra beautiful happens when that transformation becomes conscious.
Mm.
Yeah. And so, yeah, what you said makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
because like for me, okay, levity and humor is how I survive this world, right? And so one of the things that, and this is an example of transformation, okay, because I'm about to share something that I did that I would never do, like in other versions of me. But one of the things my daughter and my oldest daughter and I, we really like to do now, it's like a shared thing we do. We get our nails done together, right? And it's really fun. And she's into these 3D nail art. So she gets to choose, over Easter, it was pretty flamboyant, but because it's back to school, we had to tone it down to like just one 3D charm. And I did the same. I got one 3D charm, which says lucky.
Nice.
Yep. And I got it on both my fingers. I got the same thing, right? Because I'm also a creature of habit. So I had the exact same nail color and charm, but it was on this finger last time. But this time I got it on as my Macy says, my naughty finger. Because I am defiantly hopeful, and even in the face, I mean, I hear all the horror stories about the world and everything, and I'm like, I'm still lucky,
Right.
That's something I would have never done in another version of my life, but I feel like it's this small symbol of how I'm personally, consciously transforming and allowing myself to step into more expressive freedom, even if it's seen by the social convention, as problematic or rude or whatever. I am unapologetically hopeful.
Yeah, and you're authentically you know? And I think that's important. I think that's part of transforming, is to get to that place where we can go, wow, I never would have done that. And this is who I am right now, and be unapologetically authentic. And, and it's perplexing to my partner. And I'm thinking to a lot of, I'm going to say men, just because of the men are from Mars, women are from Venus. We think so differently, but it's very perplexing. Like, one week I could be apologetically, authentically me and have lucky on my fingers, and the next week I'll be like, yeah, no, I don't, that doesn't resonate for me anymore. I don't like it. And you'll be like, wait, what? I thought it was your favorite thing to do. You know, and it gets so perplexed, but it's like really living in the moment of the truth of who we are, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, sister. Absolutely.
Yay, well, that's who we are. Who are you? That's what we want to know. So if you're out there listening, put it in the chat, leave it for us later. We'll get it. Just let us know who you are, where you're watching from. Feel free to like us and move our algorithms around. And we're going to take a break and go to some very interesting things happening here on New Thought Media Network. And when we get back, we are going to dive into, are you talking to me? I was thinking of Robert De Niro. Are you?
Me too. That was exactly the image in my head. You
Right?
talking to me? You talking to me?
You talking to me?
Talking
We are talking to you. So come back right here on New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you. Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk, Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Unity of Garden Park. New Thought Philadelphia. The Sunshine Cathedral. Unity of Savannah. And the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here comes the girl. It's more than practical. Here comes the girl. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life, it's free. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
And we are back. Robyn Rice Olmsted.
Dr. Natasha Wilson, a very serious person.
Me too. I'm curious and creative. We play the game where you add an adjective. I'm curious, creative, and adventurous. Anyway, we're all of those things, and so happy to be here and share them with you, and just step into the permission to be all of that, because sometimes it gets a little squashed. but not here on New Thought Media Network. No squashing allowed. So today we are jumping into Are You Talking to Me? And that is about
I hear
what you
I hear somebody talking, but it's not you. You hear it? Oh, it stopped.
I did hear a little voice.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it was.
Okay, I was like, oh, this is actually happening. Like we're hearing voices.
There you go, real time. Are you talking to us? If you are, come back loud and clear. The chat, that too. So we're open. We never know who's here. Oh,
are you guys okay?
we're not even drinking.
I know, but I just I mean, you guys are hearing voices and
you didn't hear it, Michael?
Yeah, I heard your husband's big mouth in the next room.
No. It wasn't
God?
No, it wasn't. Well, don't tell him. Don't ask him that question. But no, I heard more like when there's static on the line.
Okay.
Anyway.
Anyhow, no, just yeah. So now, if you guys continue with these hallucinations, we may have to get out the DSM-5.
Hey. It's moved on. It's the DSM-5 TMR now. Okay?
TMR. I'm sorry.
Right. Okay. And it includes things like complex bereavement disorder.
Wow.
And it has an ICD-10 code. All right.
All right.
I thought hallucinations were all in order. When I look at the current regime and what happens on the news, it totally feels like people are.
I'm going to leave before I get into trouble.
Okay.
Keep running interventions as you see fit, because sometimes we need interventions.
All right. No intervention right this second, but we're going to talk about when life is talking to you, when when you do hear those voices that are other than what we heard, just so you get that nudge from spirit, or, a little tug, or sometimes it turns into the 2x4. But how can you tell? Like what does it actually feel like when life starts talking to you that way? I'm going to call it life for now. You can call it spirit. You can call it universe. You can call it the powers that be, whatever, your alter ego.
Yeah. I can just speak for like how I've, at this stage right now, experienced that level of discernment, right? When I'm being pulled by spirit or pushed by old patterns. One of the things I've noticed is that like I feel a sense of relief. I also feel like a sense of ease. Like for me, it's a very embodied thing, is how I know, okay, yep, that voice is the voice of my highest self, my God self, because it doesn't feel like a struggle.
Really?
Yeah. Like it never feels like a struggle. It just, there's this level of clarity. Not saying that whatever actions may be required are always comfortable, but there is this like ease, this softening in my belly. Yeah. And that, I don't know, that's how it looks for me. It just doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like swimming upstream. It feels like floating in the river a little bit.
Well, I would like to speak with your God and see if there's any openings, because that's not how mine always feels. I mean, for me, it feels like, it does feel like somehow truth speaking. And that doesn't mean I'm always in alignment and ready to play with it. I'm like, no, no, I don't want to do that. So it, I don't have like that gentle softening of the belly or anywhere else. I'm like,
Really?
I mean, I'm not saying never, but I
Mm,
mean, the it can be resistance. It can be, I don't know. I have a lot of conversations with it, and
mm,
especially like being a practitioner and praying for people all the time,
mm,
or being up on a stage and praying. I have so many discussions with spirit about like, I mean, spirit will say, so what, y'all, when I pray, I, I just allow spirit to come through me.
mm.
So I don't really know ever what I'm going to say. I mean, I have an idea of what I'm praying for, but there are times when, with all due respect, I think spirit is batshit crazy. I'm like, I'm not going to say that. That has nothing to do with what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
You have got to give an example. I'm
I will.
sorry. I need to hear an
There's
example.
just times when, like, somebody's like, please pray for me for peace and that I, whatever, that life gets better and I make more money. And as I'm praying, I get the download to say, and everyone in your family right now has a healing and they are open to uh, the journey or whatever. And they haven't talked about their family, they haven't talked about anything. And then they'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. That is so important. That's exactly what's happening to me right now. I mean, and sometimes it's more dramatic, like it's totally different. That was kind of related, but it will
Mm,
be totally different. And I'll be like, and I have the moment with spirit, or sometimes if I'm going to pray in English and Spanish up there, I mean, I'm up there praying in English and spirit says pray in Spanish. I'm like, I don't want to right now because it's a whole different brain set to talk in another language, and especially in this metaphysical world, because you don't say things the same way. And so, and there'll be times when I'm literally up there talking, praying in English, going in my head, I'm going, no, I'm not going to do it. And then before I know it, I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, I know it's the voice. I know it's telling me what to do, but I don't always want to. I don't always think I can. It's not even always want to. So
mm.
I'm just saying that sometimes it's just not as gentle as yours.
Oh. So can I can I ask, when when I never get the voice that says pray in another language ever. So first I find that completely amazing and fascinating. And do you, when you say no, I don't want to, like do you know why you don't want to?
Yeah, there's numerous reasons.
Okay.
Like I said, some are because it's not, Spanish isn't my first language. I mean,
Mhm.
I did grow up there for part of my life and go to school there and blah blah blah, but it doesn't.
When you
It's
say there, you went
it,
to school in like Mexico or something?
yeah,
Okay. Got it.
but it's a different. It's just a different skill set, and it's yeah, and I just don't want to. Or when I get the download to say something that doesn't make any sense to me, because and I guess if we're boiling it down, it probably comes down to some level it not being right or it being wrong, or me ending a prayer and somebody going, what the hell were you talking about when balloons fly in the west, or whatever I say.
Hmm.
Not that that's ever happened, but I don't know. I don't have to have a reason really not to want to.
No. I was
You know,
just curious if you knew.
yeah. I mean, I think it's just it's not part of my plan.
Hmm.
Like
Ah!
I, it wasn't part. It's just kind of random. But
Oh.
anyway, so obviously the voice can sound different to each of us. You know, And I think for me, when I think spirit is talking to me, or my higher self or intuition, um, yeah, like you said, there is always there is that clarity. I mean, I'm not arguing because I think it's wrong.
Mm.
I just don't want to. That's all. I don't want to.
Mm.
So, for whatever my reasons are. So, yeah, so I still think like, but that voice, I mean, the voice does sound like it's like a different voice. It's like an anchored voice,
Mm. Mm.
you know?
Mm. Mm. No, I do. Yeah. I experience it as an anchor and like as an embodied sensation, because like I feel like so much of my own spiritual work has been about integrating the holiness of the human body, and the holiness of my human body, and that's connected to like a lot of stuff, right? Growing up as a female being, person called a female, it has a lot to do with growing up, and whatever. So a lot of the ways that I experience that higher pull, that higher calling, that higher voice, whatever people want to call it, spirit, God, my former client in Scotland who used to call it the big banana in the sky. I don't care. One of the things that I realized for me is that there's always an embodied part of the experience. So I notice ease and softness, really softness in my belly, because that's where I would normally carry a lot of stress. And when I am struggling, like I'm swimming against the current because I haven't remembered that life wants to carry me. I don't have to swim upstream. I
Right.
can just float. And my own, like really the thing, if there's something for me to do, is just to decide how I orient myself in the river. Do I want to float feet first, head first, sideways, right? But there's this current of life that carries me. And it's like for me, there's always this embodied feeling, experience, sensation that goes along with that, what we're calling voice.
And I think I hear you, and I agree with you on some. And I think that's kind of what we started out with, is like we're talking about willingness.
Mhm.
So I mean, you clearly are when you hear the voice, you are willing to surrender.
Oh, wait. No. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when I do, that's what it feels like.
And I think that's the thing. I think that's so then we go to willingness, because I think there's many times I do, and and even you knowing that that's the next stage, if you're willing, if you're
Mm.
willing to surrender, if you're willing to allow that. And so then for me, what keeps us in the almost willing stage, like, which is the question you were asking me, basically, why don't I
Mm.
want to? And
Mm.
the quick answer, like I said, would be, well, I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to speak Spanish and then somebody's going to tell me, that's really not what you should have said. The word is really blah blah blah. Or somebody's going to say to me, you're crazy, I don't know why you said that in your prayer. And like I said, it's never happened. I've never, once again, when I surrender and when I'm willing, I've always been, um, what's the word I want? Not rewarded, but like I've gotten the affirmation.
Mm.
People going, oh my God, when you prayed in Spanish, I had no idea what you were saying, but I felt it, and I love, you know, but so I know that I was meant to give people that experience or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make it that much easier the next time, but it's still, I get it. So what keeps us in that almost willing stage as opposed to just leaping in to float on the river?
Yeah, I think it's just our humanity in a lot of ways. Like, I think there is this. So, like I said, I'm very grateful that a part of my journey has really involved my spiritual journey has involved being connected deeply to my physical body, not treating my physical body like somehow it is not spiritual, and that like mind and thought and all these other things matter, our intellect matter more than the actual physical vessels that we live in, right? Like we can't even experience aliveness on planet Earth without a body. So there's a holiness in that, and that's just been a part of my journey. And when I think about when I'm not willing or I'm almost willing, it has so much to do with trust for me. Because I've had the human experience early in childhood and even into like adulthood and or early adulthood and young womanhood that has made trust a very complex experience, for me. And so trusting the divine has been a part of my journey of exploring what trust really is. And what I love about the New Thought spiritual practices and tradition is that it doesn't require us to engage in blind trust. We build trust because wherever that small willingness is, and we actually live from it, we get to have an experience. And that experience builds a different kind of trust than the one that I think many of us, women and girls in particular, but not just women and girls, this sort of blind trust. Like my mind doesn't do blind trust. And that's why I'm so glad and grateful for having so much of my spiritual self shaped by New Thought, by the mystical practices of Buddhism and the mystical practices of the Sufi tradition. It doesn't require blind trust. You get to have an experience. And so my relationship with what we call the divine becomes almost evidence-based, if I can say that, So for me, what's gotten in the way is my human work that continues around trust.
Yeah, and I think, I agree with you. And, when you say trust, for me, that brings up, so what are we fearful of? Why do we need to trust, right? And I think that in all of this, whether it's a fear of, if what stops you or keeps you in the almost willing stage is a fear of losing control, or a fear of not being enough, or a fear of being seen, or a fear, the negotiating stage, a fear of what you're going to have to release in order to move forward, or what that's going to feel like, feel like. And again, like the question for me with spirit, because if we believe what we say we believe, and that, as God is, we are, and that we are all of that, and that we're meant for, the greatness and the goodness of all that is possible, and whatever that means to you or looks like in your world. And so it comes up then, what if I'm really meant for more, and now I have to live like it, now I have to be like it, what if I can't live up to it? It makes me think, Gil used this yesterday on our show, a Ray Davis song, who is the wonderful musician and writer that wrote our jingle.
Oh my God, he's the most amazing voice and piano skills.
He's an amazing man and a good person. But one of his songs is, what it says, what if I was born for greatness? What if I was more than I think I am?
Yep.
And I think that at the end of the day, if we were boiling it all down, that's where we still have that human tendency to want to micromanage, micromanage that, and
Yeah. And that comes from fear. I think the way that we, like this sense that we can even control like anything, is it really is a pull for safety. Like that's really what it is. The fact is, being born on planet Earth, it's not for cowards. And life here, it is real. It gives us these experiences that I tell people all the time, like if it leads you to question existence or God, like that's okay. Like I remember when my brothers were murdered, I was like, there can be no God in this. There just can't be. Right. My brother, a brave soldier, 8 years of his life in Afghanistan, Iraq, protecting our country, training as a nurse, right? My other brother, this beautiful creative soul, and my brother survives war, right? As someone who helps people heal, and then comes home to our country. And because our country has this really crazy relationship with gun ownership, they're dead. They're gone.
Yeah.
Not questioning God, and at a time like that, like it would have been a performance. I had to question the divine. And I feel like that's the thing. When we develop this willingness, then we're not afraid to go to those scarier places, because we know that there's no sin in that. I think so many of us are rehabilitating from what early religion has done to us. What I've come to know is that the divine can not only hold scrutiny and question, I think it deepens when we go there. And yeah, sometimes because I want to be in control, right? Even though, right, I have to accept the limits of what that means. It doesn't mean I don't do it from time to time. And I've also learned when I'm doing too much. I know it because my belly is tight. My heart, my chest is tight. I'm swimming upstream. And this is the other thing I've learned. I don't need to know all the answers to why a thing is or isn't. What I know is that when I'm done fighting the universe and I surrender because I've been fighting, and I float downstream,
right,
the sensation in my body is one of relief, peace, and trust.
And I think, yeah, it's beautifully said, all of it. Thank you. I think as we close out, because we are once again at the end of the show.
Oh my God, time is just not real. It's unreal. Oh my goodness.
But I think, you're bringing it all to a close, because I think we're talking about when we finally say yes, when we finally surrender, when we finally listen, even if you've negotiated and you do the first step, but what opens up, what happens is you get that flow and that synchronicity and that support that you didn't even know was waiting. I mean, that's what happens. The right people show up, the right ideas, the clarity, because you finally aligned with that version that life has been speaking to you about, about stepping into your greater yet to be. And so, as we close out, it's like, how do we practice that willingness or that surrender or that listening, all of the above? How do we practice that in real time? And what comes up for me is, I don't know if you saw the movie, like it's a parent-kids movie. It's a good movie to watch where the parents have to say yes to everything for the whole day. But I've done that with myself, just being in that space where like I can't do it for the whole day. but it's a good awareness, because how, getting in that rhythm of saying yes to spirit, or yes and to whatever is seeking to emerge, even just taking the next small step in anything and saying yes, then that it's not like it has to be the whole picture of this huge transformation or what's going to change in your life, but really stepping in and just trying something small, trusting that nudge that you're listening to, or just remembering that it's not listening, and willingness isn't I don't know, that it's a spiritual practice. It's a spiritual practice.
Absolutely. Unquestionably. Absolutely.
All right. Well, so we're going to leave you then with those thoughts, and just, take a breath and be with that. And, where in your life have you been pretending that you don't hear the whisper, or ignoring the whisper? And what would shift or change if you listened in a different way, or admitted that the message was for you specifically?
Mm-hmm. And what I'm just going to leave everyone with is, if you engage in this question, also notice what you feel in your body. Yeah, those are important cues.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody. Just remember that life is always talking to you. It's not to test you, but to invite you really to your becoming. It's not waiting for perfection. It's waiting for willingness. So willing and change the world.
Ashe.
We love you. See you next week.
Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk. Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Unity of Garden Park. New Thought Philadelphia. The Sunshine Cathedral. Unity of Savannah. And the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.